GLC is now offering a free audio stream of our 24/7 broadcast that we're calling GLC Radio, an online radio station that broadcasts our round-the-clock audio stream on a variety of platforms. GLC Radio gives you the ability to listen to GLC virtually anywhere, through your home or office computer, or on the go with a mobile device. You can access GLC Radio through our website or by searching for God's Learning Channel through iTunes Internet Radio, TuneInRadio.com, or on Shoutcast.com. Explore various GLC Radio-enabled mobile apps by visiting our website at glc.us.com/listen/GLC Radio. GLC Radio, your free connection to GLC anywhere, anytime.
Welcome to the weekend update. As you can see, I have got my Roundup jacket on. Vest.
Okay, so we're trying to figure out if it's his Roundup jacket or his update vest. And he says, well, what does it say on the back? And on the back, it has a big GLC logo, and it says Update News. But he wears it during Roundup.
Right.
So I guess now whatever he says is right.
Well, the main thing that I'm saying is it's still Roundup. And this coming Monday, we start our 33rd year with your help.
Okay, I have to say something here because we are running a spot now about we are not closing our doors. You know, I'm not sure why people got that impression, why we're closing our doors, because we're not. We are transitioning how we feed the signal because we have to get off the SES satellite. $17,000 a month is just not reasonable. Mm-hmm. So,
especially when you can do with what we have.
That's right. So much cheaper. So that's what we're raising those funds for the IP conversion. And then we're also running a spot. Let us know what cable channel that you're watching us on, because some of the cable systems receive our signal from the SES, and then some of them receive them from the Galaxy 19. Mm-hmm. Our plan, what we're doing right now, and I can assure you our chief engineer, Dell, is hard at work pulling all this stuff together in his spare time, is to send our signal not through the SES to the Galaxy 19, but directly from here to the Galaxy 19.
Right.
And then the people who are watching on a Galaxy 19 or Glory Star dish, as many of them call them, they can still receive our signal. And all of the cable systems that are receiving our signal by the Galaxy 19 won't be affected at all. Mm-hmm. But that signal has to go directly to the Galaxy 19 to not affect anyone. Mm-hmm. But what we have to do is convert every cable system that is now being fed by the SES. So what we're doing is we're asking you to mail in the information, tell us where you are, who you are, what cable system you subscribe to, and Dish and Direct as well, and what channel you're watching us on. That will aid us in determining the most important systems that we need to convert, if we need to convert them.
High priority.
And it also will help us to do some target marketing later on down the road. Mm-hmm. Because we now are gaining the information of the channels that you're watching, and
right.
You know. So anyway, there we are.
Well, you made a pretty good engineering pitch there. Thank you that you inherited that from me.
I did inherit your engineering stuff.
That's right.
And also,
you hear it 24/7. It's kind of hard not to get a little bit of it.
even you.
Even me.
But I love the engineering stuff.
But the other thing was that we need to add to that is back last month I made a challenge to you, and me and Tommy put $1,000 up and said we need 199 more of you to get
this done.
So that's why I wear my update I wear my Roundup vest to
All your
remind
hats.
you.
Okay, well, and then there's something else that's going on too. We are now having to implement the Calm Compliance. And Calm Compliance is really a leveling of the audio.
Yes.
The FCC has mandated this. And you know how when you're watching our station and any other stations, it happens to everybody. That's why the FCC is doing this. And something's at a normal pitch for you, and then all of a sudden it's so loud or it's so low you can't hear it. That's what the Calm Compliance Act is all about. That equipment's not free, and that is another project that Dell is taking care of in his spare time.
With a deadline.
And then he had another little nice thing happen this week at our Roswell transmitter. They have this problem in Roswell for some reason. People are stealing at these different sites. I talked to him, and he said the sheriff's office said that a lot of different sites were hit. But our air conditioning system at our transmitter was stolen. They cut through the fencing there and stole that because there was barbed wire. They took that, our whole air conditioning unit. They cut the lines as far as they could to the building, as close to the building as they could. What they're going for is the metal components and the copper. They also took the telephone wiring. They yanked it out. So that had to be fixed. So, you know, you think if somebody came to your house and stole your air conditioning unit, our air conditioning units are a little bit bigger than yours. Our equipment's a little bit bigger. They tell you don't let your computers overheat, right? So we have to keep things nice and cool around here. Speaking of which, it's awfully hot under these lights at this moment. If you could like do something with that. Anyway, there's always something going on.
There is.
So, but
Always
we're not
something.
closing our doors. We're so excited because we know GLC is in the palm of the hands of the King of the universe, and the message that we're sending out is his message.
That's right.
And it's been going on for 32 years.
But the message has gotten a whole lot more refined, and now we know truly what our focus is, and that's helping the church understand their position. And we're really excited about that. Really excited about that. Okay, I want to share one other thing. You see my beautiful peacock pin? A very good friend of mine crashed my birthday and gave me this beautiful pin.
It is beautiful.
Okay.
You'll always remember her. Okay. We have a few Hanukkah items in the bookstore, don't we?
If we do, there's not much.
I know.
And we will be open Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and
Hanukkah goes into effect Tuesday night. And I just got a message a few minutes ago that someone had called the bookstore. We need to change the answering machine message. I've got to figure out how to do that. To change the message, because he had called to see what our hours were, and the message says 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. He drove all the way over from Big Spring, and as you can well imagine, he was not happy.
No.
So, and I don't blame him. I would not be happy either.
I wouldn't
So
either.
anyway, I am so sorry about that. If you're watching, I'm so sorry. People are loving the repeats that we're doing. Oh my goodness. I can barely keep Ben Burton's stuff on the shelves right now. So, and Ben Burton's programs, we did 3 separate topics with Ben. We did the virgin birth. That's one Lot's program. We did Deity of the Messiah. That's 2 Lot's programs. And we did Atonement, also 2 Lot's programs. You can get any one of those Lot's programs for $14.95 in the bookstore. You can get the...
You can place that by ordering on the phone, too, the way I understand it, right?
Well, sure. You can come in, you can call, you can leave a message. If we don't answer, we'll call you back. You can go online and get it through PayPal. But you can get each subject together as well. So if the subject is 2 Lots programs, those are packaged together and you'll get a small discount on that. Or you can get all 3 topics, 5 disc, in one package. That's the Pivotal Doctrines package, $69.95. And you save, I don't know, $5-6 on that or something. But I can't
Excellent.
keep those in stock either. So
Excellent teachings.
anyway, they are excellent teachings. And apparently somebody watched Joe McGee that we repeated. I think that was last
Last
night.
night.
Is that right, Vanita? And they went online, placed an order for that immediately.
All right.
In CD, so it's audio,
Uh-huh.
and also DVD. So for those of you who are in your car a lot and you want to just be able to listen to something really great, you can place any of those orders on CD.
You have a weekend lineup telling us what is going to come up this weekend.
Okay, I sure do. 2 of the programs I just talked about, actually. Well, we have Dr. Charles Scott. This is his holistic approach to health. That will be airing tonight, Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday afternoon at 2, Sunday early morning, 1 a.m., and Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. Joe McGee. This is a repeat from May of 2012. We had never repeated this program.
You're kidding.
No, Vina discovered it. It will be
Wow.
airing at Saturday at 1 a.m., Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., Monday morning as you're getting ready to go to work, 7 a.m. Great way to start the day. Ben Burton, Atonement, Part 1, will be airing Saturday early morning, 5 a.m., Saturday night at 8 p.m., Monday at 1 a.m.
Okay.
And Part 2 of Atonement will be airing Sunday at 5 a.m., early in the morning, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Now, if you didn't figure that out, because I went through it so fast, Atonement Part 1 will air at the same time slot as Atonement Part 2. Saturday, Sunday, 5 a.m., Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. So you can catch both parts.
Very good. All righty.
That's it, and that's all I got.
Okay, you got a letter?
I have a letter. It
What'd you
says,
read?
Dear Al, Tommy, and Amy, just saying thanks is easy. The part that's really hard is finding room for all the thanks on such a little card. Thanks for bringing us the truth. In love, Shirley from Midland, and who watches on Channel 12 on Suddenlink. And I see a little note's been added. She's been a partner for years and years. Yes, she has.
We've had quite a few partners that have been partners for years and years. In fact, Mom and Dad picked up the mail today and they went through it. But Dad wrote a note on one of them, Robert and Joan. Hello. He said they are the second partners that we ever had, and that was
In
at
Roswell.
KRPV, Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And he run, how we met him, he run the 7-Eleven there on the corner.
Did he really?
Yes, that's where I used to go over there and get coffee, and he started to watch us and thank
Been with
you.
us ever since.
Yep. Okay. People are so good.
Well, I have a lovely devotional today by Asher and Trader. It says, faithfulness is an important character trait. God described Moses as faithful in all my house, Numbers 12:7. Abraham was faithful past the age of 100 when his body was weak and frail. Joseph was faithful despite the lies against him. Daniel and his friends, even in the face of being executed, they were faithful. Faithfulness is so central to Yeshua's character that it's like a second name to him. I saw the heavens opened, and behold, a white horse, and the one who sat upon it was called Faithful and True. That's Revelation 19:11. We are called to be like him. So faithfulness should become central to our character as well. From the root of the Hebrew letter Amen, all are derived. The words are amen, faithful, faithfulness, trustworthiness, integrity, moral courage, training, and coaching. There's a connection between faith and faithfulness. Faithfulness is faith that has been tested and proven over time. Faithfulness is faith that has passed the test of patience and trials. When faith goes through the process of persecution, difficulties, challenges, and temptations, it develops into faithfulness. We should look at difficulties in this life as an opportunity for character development. The testing of your faith leads to patience. Let patience have its perfect work so that you may be made perfect. And that's James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. Through this process, our faith is refined and made more precious than gold. 1 Peter 1:7. Faithfulness is faith refined. It's precious. Faithfulness in this lifetime determines how we will live in the world to come. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in little. I will make you ruler over much. Enter into the joy of your master. That's Matthew 25:21. Yeshua speaking. It's not joyful when we're tested, but it will produce joy in the end. God's not impressed by our talents and accomplishments. However, He is looking for human beings who will be faithful. At the end of our lives, we want to be found faithful. When we feel we have no strength or wisdom, we can still be faithful.
Amen.
That neat?
It is.
We can. Hey, Vanita, I'm going to ask you to skip to the second article, if you would. And while you're working on that, I want to share something that hit me a little earlier. It may have been watching Ben Burton, but he was talking about how, whoever it was talking about how God actually, He didn't create mankind because He was lonely. He created mankind so that He could see His own reflection in us.
Mm-hmm.
We're made in the image of God. This is why, as we draw closer to the Lord and we become more obedient and more faithful, we're a better reflection of His image.
That's right.
Okay? It's kind of like the moon on a really bright night is a really bright reflection of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then my friend who gave me this pen was talking about, as we age, isn't it great to get up in the morning and look in the mirror? Oh, yeah, it's great. And I was thinking, you know, if we're supposed to be the reflection of the Lord, we want to be the mirror that He can look at to see His own reflection. We don't want Him to look in the mirror and see ugliness.
That's right. Wrinkles, blemishes.
All those blemishes.
Uh-huh.
What would be sin?
Uh-huh.
Because sin
That's right.
is so ugly to Him,
Mhm.
He can't look upon it.
And it cannot be in His presence.
It can't be in His presence. So anyway, just food for thought. Next time you look in the mirror, go, I wonder what God sees when He sees His reflection in me.
Oh, wow. That is a good one.
I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm good with those little nuggets, you know?
Yep,
Like,
you
all
are.
right. And the good news is that when our Messiah comes and He rules and He reigns here for 1,000 years, we're all going to have perfect bodies, perfect faces, everything.
Perfect hair.
Everything will be shiny. No more bad hair days. Hallelujah. That's something to rejoice about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this comes from the United with Israel staff. It seems that ISIS knows no end to their moral deficiency. They'll do their best to make money off of Western hostages, dead or alive. That's James Foley on the screen.
Yes, it is.
The Islamic State terror group operating out of Syria and Iraq has reportedly offered to sell the remains of James Foley, the American journalist they decapitated in mid-August, for the extravagant sum of $1 million. So if they decapitated him and he's still hanging out, we can bet that he didn't have the honor of a decent burial.
Right.
Foley was the first American whose execution was documented and publicized in the now infamous style, which has become ISIS's trademark. His death was followed by American-Israeli journalist Stephen Sotloff, who was murdered in September. British aid worker David Haynes' beheading followed at the end of September, and Alan Henning, a British national, was next on October 3rd. Finally, Peter Kasich became the 5th Western victim to be decapitated on camera in mid-November. BuzzFeed News reports that middlemen with ties to ISIS are trying to elicit funds from the U.S. government or the victim's family in exchange for the body of at least one deceased American captive. The exchange would reportedly occur on the Turkish border, and the terror group was willing to provide a DNA sample to facilitate a deal. One of the intermediaries, a former terrorist with ties to the various terror groups in Syria, including ISIS, told BuzzFeed that his motivation was to help the grieving family find closure, calling his work a humanity case. Another intermediary, a businessman who had sought to use his own ISIS connections to facilitate hostage deals, was candid about his goals when he told BuzzFeed, "This is business. ISIS, which has demanded ransom for live hostages, is now seeking payment for a body." A recent report published by the UN reveals that ISIS has accumulated a vast sum of $35 to $45 million over the past year in ransom money. Yatsna Laji, a UN specialist monitoring al-Qaeda, told a meeting of the UN Security Council's Counterterrorism Committee that an estimated $120 million in ransom money was paid to terrorist groups around the world between 2004 and 2012. Press TV reports that many governments do pay ransom money in order to release the nationals kidnapped by terror groups. The U.S. says it will not change its position against paying ransom for American hostages. Foley's parents said that the U.S. government had threatened them with prosecution if they paid a ransom for their son's release. However, a member of the Free Syrian Army, the American-backed rebel group fighting to depose President Bashar Assad in Syria, which may serve as a third party during negotiations for the return of the body, stated that it will be like a shame for the U.S. government if they try to stop the deal. And people will ask why you brought the body but you didn't bring him when he was alive.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. My heart breaks for the families.
My heart breaks for everybody who is over there in the midst of all of this chaos.
Yeah.
It's just, even though all of those refugees that have lost their home and all of the people who are still being tortured and brutally killed every single day.
That's right.
All over the Middle East. It's not news headlines now. I'm not sure why.
Not.
It's not newsworthy anymore. But now it's becoming winter over there. So these people are without homes, without provision, and it's cold.
That's right. And there are only a few refugee camps for them.
You ought to heard Franklin Graham last night on Fox talk about how come, and this is a good question for everybody, how come the plight of the Christians that are being killed, and many, many thousands of them, we're not even hearing anything about
Not
it.
mentioned.
Nobody's,
That's
the
right.
American government isn't screaming about it or nothing.
No,
right.
and it's a good point. Christians are the prime target.
That's right.
Christians and Jews. So if you ever question whether God lumps Christians and Jews together, take a look at what the enemy is lumping together. He lumps us together.
Yes, he does.
This is why we're the target.
That's right.
So there you are.
This comes from Gatestone Institute and the Morning Star News. Christians continue to suffer from Muslim persecution throughout the Middle East, and it has reached Jerusalem. The Jerusalem Calvary Baptist Church was forced to close its doors and relocate following years of vicious and relentless Muslim attacks. The church, which was situated in the Muslim-dominated area of East Jerusalem, has been under attack since opening in 2007, Raymond Ibrahim reports for the Gatestone Institute. The first attack came within the first 10 days when a Muslim attacked one of the churchgoers with a knife. Shortly afterwards, an anarchist tried to set fire to the building. Several incidents of vandalism followed, including the damaging of cars and property. Children were physically assaulted on the way to services. The congregation was finally forced to move after the landlord of the property was threatened, Gatestone reports. "How dare you do this?" he was told. "This is a disgrace to Islam. If you don't do anything about this, we will." The owner finally caved in to pressure, and the 110-member community was forced to leave the Muslim-controlled neighborhood and search for a new home.
Pastor Stephen Curry told the Morning Star News that he was devastated when he handed over the keys. The persecution was difficult, but had also been a catalyst for spiritual development, he explained. It was very emotional because a lot of our people really started to grow there, he said. Most of the growth happened in Shuafat, the East Jerusalem neighborhood, because of the persecution. Corey said that the assaults were spread out over a 2 or 3 year period in order to let us know that we were not welcome there. This is the third church in Muslim-majority Jerusalem neighborhoods to be forced out in recent years, Gatestone points out. A church administrator told Morning Star News that Muslim harassment has been constant. I've been here since 2004, and every day we have a story, he said. In spite of all that happened to him and his congregation, Corey told Morning Star News that his congregation is determined to stay in Jerusalem. I believe in being persistent, and I believe in holding your ground and standing strong, he said. I believe in the message so strongly I'm willing to risk my life. Our members are willing to risk their lives by continuously coming to the same location. I believe still that people will see that we are committed just like they are in their religion, and we are willing to die for our faith just as they are.
Christians have been persecuted and murdered in Muslim-dominated countries in recent years, such as in Iraq, Egypt, and Nigeria. The growing Muslim population has also threatened Christian-majority countries such as France and Sweden. For centuries, Bethlehem was a Christian city, with members of the faith comprising approximately 80% of the population, as recently as 50 years ago. Today, under the administration of the Palestinian Authority, it's under 15% Christian due to Muslim persecution. Just think how Christians would suffer if the Palestinian Authority controlled Jerusalem.
You know, while they're naming these Muslim-dominated countries, I'm thinking about Syria. And I don't think there are any Christians left in Syria now, ever since we've been trying to get Assad out of power. They've been wiping them out
They've
over there.
been wiping them out. That's right.
Well, here's something to consider. King of the South, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait are discussing the creation of a military pact to take on Islamic militants with the possibility of a joint force to intervene around the Middle East. This comes from the Times of Israel. The countries have already shown an unprecedented willingness to intervene together. Egypt and the UAE operated in carrying out airstrikes against Islamic militants in Libya during the summer, according to U.S. and Egyptian officials, and last month Egypt carried out strikes of its own. Just weeks ago, Saudi King Abdullah appeared to the people and leadership of Egypt to support the march toward Arab solidarity. On December 9th, the Six-State Gulf Cooperation Council agreed to create a regional police force based out of the United Arab Emirates capital of Abu Dhabi and a joint naval force based out of Britain. This joint military force, composed of powerful Sunni nations in the Middle East, is intended to counter the threat posed by Islamic extremists and Shiite-dominated Iran. Bible prophecies have long foretold the rise of a king of the south just before the return of the Messiah at the end of the age. See Daniel 11:40. This dramatic move toward Arab solidarity between historically independent and adversarial nations could lead to the fulfillment of this ancient prophecy.
It's getting very interesting.
And like I said, I keep saying this, it's going to get more interesting.
It is.
You know,
more intense.
we think that we're hearing of wars and rumors of wars and the Ebola thing and you know, it's nothing compared to what it's going to be. The end is definitely near. The truth has got to get out there. So, you know what?
And
thanks for all the well wishes for my birthday. That was really sweet of everybody. But thank you more than anything for being a part of the call on our lives.
And like I've admonished you for years, please read the Bible yourself so that you will be familiar with what God is saying and doing. We love you. Shabbat Shalom.